Hopefully this is a segment that you all enjoy because it takes a ton of work to put this together. So this is a state showdown. Essentially, we take two states, put them head to head, and evaluate them on 13 quantifiable metrics to try to rate how they compare to one another. We give them a letter grade. On paper, which of these is more conducive to being a car enthusiast than the other? And then we talk about maybe the unquantifiable metrics like the racetracks or the driving roads.
And the viewers don't get to see the Excel document, but if you've seen the movie Rain Man, you kind of get the idea.
16 tabs.
He's a freak in the sheets, the Excel sheets.
Ohio versus Kentucky. And these are totally random. I just put these in a March Madness bracket. Overall, when we evaluate these 13 metrics, we gave it a rating of D+. Overall, it ranked 28th out of 50, which if you're doing your math means most states get like a D or an F. But pros for Ohio, it's not a CARB state. We talked about that last week. California Air Resources Board. It's got lower registration costs than most states, slightly lower insurance costs than the average, and they do not require a front plate inspections or any emissions testing. Big bonus for those of us in the classic car community. There's also more racetracks in the state than on average, including the Summit Motorsports Park. The driving roads include Ohio Route 536, Triple Nickel, and Hocking Hills Scenic Byway. Triple Nickel being the GreatDrivingRoads.com number 4 driving road in the country. Cons, it's the 9th worst in the number of sunny days, and it is deep in the Salt Belt.
50th percentile or below is at least a D.
D.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it's kind of middle of the road, it's a D, right? One thing to note here, because that honestly sounds like a lot of positives, I think we should make a consideration of like automotive history and what Ohio means to American automotive culture. I mean, Dayton, Cleveland V8, right? Like, it was huge for American muscle car manufacturing.
Absolutely, especially for engine building. Yeah, you're right.
That's what we talk about now. We talked about the things you could actually put a number against. Now there's things that you really can't put a number against. So,
I don't know a ton about Ohio except for what you've already said.
It's bleak. I'm not going to lie. We drove through it. It's not amazing.
Here, I thought you're going to be like, see, actually, Ohio.
What's weird about Ohio is like there's actually some money there. There are some pretty serious car collections, as significant to American automotive history as Michigan, I would say.
Really?
Yeah, it's huge.
It has had its footprint for sure, but nothing compares to Michigan.
It's probably as close to Michigan
as any other state could be.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, but it's also
maybe California.
It's also
maybe not for manufacturing.
California's big now. Like Tesla, I think.
But the only reason that Ohio has that footprint is that they are directly south of Detroit.
Hey, I don't even know where the state is. Apparently, my point is, it's significant. Yeah. Ohio is significant to American automotive history. I think you guys are Mopar stands, so Detroit has a very, very special place in your heart. I know it's not just Mopar.
It's just like there's the town of Cadillac. There's the town of Pontiac.
Okay, so hot take. Ohio is as big in automotive history as Michigan. That's
all right. You know what? If it drives engagement.
Muy caliente.
So Ohio is putting up against Kentucky. Again, evaluating it across those 13 different metrics, we gave it a grade of C, which actually puts it fairly high. That's 21st overall. It is also not a CARB state. There are also no toll facilities and no speed cameras anywhere in the state. It's the 8th lowest in gas prices and 9th overall in days without snow. There's actually fewer days of snow than Nevada.
That's the most interesting statistic here to me.
Yeah.
Because I just think of states that have weather and states that don't. And to me, like Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico are one
the
of those.
whole northern 2/3 of Nevada is hot. It's high. It's Rockies. Mm-hmm. Like Reno gets snow.
That place isn't real.
Reno probably gets snow now.
I'm pretty sure it borders Michigan. That's why.
Yeah, Michigan and Ohio, those West Coast states.
That's right. Michigan and Ohio.
So speaking of like an unquantifiable metric, but still something worth mentioning, Kentucky is the home of the Corvette. There's the Bowling Green production facility, National Corvette Museum, the racing track there for Corvettes, Corvette history there for people that are into Corvette. There's also the Kentucky Speedways there. Driving roads include the Kentucky Route 32, Nada Tunnel, and Salt River Road. Some of the downsides, some counties do require annual emissions, but it's done on a county basis, not on the state level. It is sometimes considered part of the Salt Belt. It's directly south of Ohio, but it's considerably warmer in Kentucky than it is in Ohio. So they do use salt on the roads, but it doesn't snow nearly as much. So some maps put it in the Salt Belt, some don't.
It is 70% of my opinion on whether or not a state is good is, do they salt their roads? If the answer is yes.
It's weighted pretty highly on, it's like number 4 as far as weight on these metrics?
In 2026, the salt thing's not really that big of a deal. Like, unless you have a specific frame with rusting issues, like the Sequoia, for example, is known to have rust issues. It's just part of the culture to spray off your undercarriage after the roads have been salted. So, like, if the roads have been salted, it's snowing, you drive on the salted roads for, like, a week or two, and then the weather clears up. Well, when you go through the car wash, you spray out the undercarriage. In Arizona, you have the advantage of having never to think about that, but in the rest of the country where they do experience snow, this is just part of the culture. It's like changing your oil.
Well, you've spent more time in the snow than I have.
Maybe for newer cars. I mean, I've seen on Just Roll Into the Shop, I've seen 2021
Yeah.
F-150s that are rusted through already.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you don't
take care of it.
You know, yeah, it's like, okay, well, I didn't change the oil for 75,000 miles. My engine seized. It's like, well, yeah, what were you expecting to happen?
So if you care about your car,
Your car would never rust because you rub it down with a diaper. So, yeah. Now, I will say the exception to this rule is like a vehicle like yours. Those are, they're made out of stamped steel. Like they're not.
you breathe on it too hard and the condensation in your breath will make
Yeah.
it rust. Let's compare these side by side. So these are all the metrics that we evaluate. We give a slight benefit to Kentucky here. I tend to lean toward Kentucky. Although you did make a compelling case for Ohio, there is a fair bit of automotive history there. But I feel like you could enjoy the roads in Kentucky more of the year. They're pretty close.
I land on Kentucky for sure. I mean, they're very, very close in a lot of these metrics. None of these would be a huge factor for me other than just having so many more sunny days than Ohio.
Yeah, Kentucky's weather is a lot more conducive. If you actually want to drive your car around, you could spend more days doing that in Kentucky.